Hello everyone, my name is Arthur, and on this video we're going to be talking about Jira and how you can use it as a project management tool on your software project, right? So what is Jira? As I said before, Jira is a project management tool and issue tracker developed by Atlassian. And why should you use Jira over any other project management tool such as Hack and Plan, such as Trello, or whatever else you prefer to use right now? Well, just like Hack and Plan, just like Trello, you can use Jira to create backlogs, manage sprints, create and assign tasks to different users on your company or your team. You can set and update task status, and you can do all of that with a very friendly user interface and more professional, in my opinion, compared to Hack and Plan. Now, not only that, but Jira also offers a bunch of other features that other project management tools do not offer. First and foremost, Jira is extremely customizable. So you can set your sprints, your boards, your workflow, and almost any way you may or may not need. You can probably customize Jira to your team specific needs. Another thing that Jira offers is code integration with your repository, right? So first thing you need to do is set up your Jira account. You're gonna have to set up an organization and your project. Once you've done that, you're gonna be directed to this page right here. So Jira already creates a sprint for you. You can change the name, you can set a duration. I usually like to set a sprint duration for 1 or 2 weeks. I'm gonna update. Um, the way that Jira does its issue tracking is through epics and stories and tasks. So if you want to create an epic, the epic is generally a more abstract view of what you need. It's usually written by the project owner or someone who has a direct or very deep understanding of the user. So you can come here, turn on the epic panel, and you can create your first epic. So I'm just gonna say that our first epic, oh, there you go. As a user, I would like to interact with the game through a main menu. So if you want to see here, you can expand the epic. You can see that right now we didn't set a start nor an end date, and there are no issues attached to it. If you see the details, you can add a description. You can expand upon what exactly do you mean by whatever title you give it. You can assign someone responsible to it, and there's many different things you can do. I'm gonna let you explore because right now we're only focusing on the main features. So after you set your epic, you need to create an issue. So I can create an issue. I can set the type of issue, either a normal task, a story, or a bug. Let's say a story, and we're gonna say our story. We're gonna do 2 stories. We're gonna do main menu UI, and we're gonna do settings menu. And you can see, because we set as a story, it already assigned the stories to the epic we created. Again, we can edit the story. We can change the epic. If we don't like, we can unlink it, or if we have like other epics that we would like to link the story to. And within the story, if you want to create even more subtasks, we can come here, add a child issue, and we can say main menu art. I want to do main menu UI. Sorry, I want to do. I want to create a subtask for menu art and a subtask for menu sound. And again, there's like the status here, and you can go and describe assign to someone specific. If I assign this to me, if I go back to main menu, here there's me assigned to me. Once you create your stories, let me just show you the roadmap tab right here above backlog. So the roadmap is basically like a Gantt chart, and it has like all the timelines. You can set up releases here if you want. Like let's going back to backlog. Let's say I create a new sprint and I move. It's super easy to move tasks from a different sprint to another. You just drag and drop. Now it's here. If I want something that's on the backlog, I can move here to the backlog. Now it's on any sprint. If I want to write an upcoming work, let's say uh, more features. Now I have more features planned, but it's not assigned to any sprint. If I come here to the roadmap, you see the epic duration goes 2 sprints now, and each story um, lasts their respective sprints, right? So this is very, very convenient. You can put your releases here. It basically does your Gantt chart for you. You don't have to waste time doing your Gantt chart. Now moving on, once you have tasks assigned to the sprint, you can select start sprint. And then once you have started a sprint, it's going to move you to the boards page. If you come here before starting a sprint or without any sprint on, this is just going to be blank. So this is your board, your sprint board. You can move your tasks to the correct table. You can create more boards if you want. This testing one I created because Jira only by default only has in progress, done, and to do. I always like to add a testing one. Again, if I want to move this guy here, it's going to give me a warning because I already started the sprint and it's going to change the scope. I'm like, that's totally fine. And now it shows up here. You guys may have noticed that we only have like 3 types of tasks, either story or issues, either story, task, or bug. If this is not enough for you, you can always customize it. Again, Jira is super customizable. You can come to project settings, you can come to issue types, and here you're going to see all your issue types. If you do add issue type, you can do coding, coding, uh, coding tasks. You can upload an icon or choose one from their templates. I'm just going to keep this one, create, and now I created coding type tasks. And you can also customize the fields on each individual task, right? So let's say for coding, I don't want any labels, I don't want any story estimate. Just drag and move this to the tab here, and it's going to remove the field. I don't need a reporter, whatever. Let's say, however, that I do want someone to approve my coding tasks, or I want a due date for my coding tasks, right? Yeah, you can also create your own custom field here. There's like these are the different kind of fields. So if you want, if you have like a checkbox or something that you want to add, you can. And if I save changes and I go back to my project, if let's go to backlog, I'm going to create, I can create a coding issue now and coding task. If I go to my board and click my coding task, you see that I only have my description and I have my due date here, have my assignee and my approver. I'm going to assign to me. I'm going to assign and approve this task. And however, if I come here, I can see that I have all the other fields that I did not remove from the coding, right? One last thing about issues, you can come here, issue types, and you can edit the workflow. So the workflow basically here, you can see that everything, you can move any task from any status to any column. If I don't like that, let's say I want to make like a more, make sure my team is following the steps correctly, I can delete these two transitions here, and I can add a transition between in progress, from status in progress to status testing, and it's going to be called move to testing. Create, there you go. I can move from in progress to testing. And finally, I'm going to create transition from testing to done. I'm going to call it uh, complete task, create, there you go. Now, if I update the workflow, I can set which kind of issues I want to have this workflow for. I don't need that for the epic. I don't need that for the subtask, and I don't need that for the bug. And if I save and go back here, I'll go back to my project, you can see my coding test can only move to in progress. I cannot move it directly to done, right? I need to move to in progress, then I have to move it to testing, and only then I can move it to done. You can also set restrictions to those transitions. So let's say you have someone whose job in your team is to test all your tasks, right? So you can remove the permission of any member of your team to move stuff from testing to done, and only the person who is responsible to testing, after they approve, they move it to done. Final thing I'm going to show, because this video is already getting a bit too long, you can link your project with repo, right? So if you come here on code, you're gonna have an option to link. I already linked my repo to my project to a repo on Bitbucket. You can just as easy link a repo on GitHub or any other cloud service that your repo is located. Once you've done that, if you go to a task, you can create a branch and associate that branch to this task, right? So if you click create branch, it's going to show you to this page where you can create the branch. You can select the repo that you want, and you can select the type of branch, and it's going to, from branch, usually from master or main, you can select from other branches as well. If I click create, it's going to create that branch on Bitbucket repo already for me. Now, this is already very useful and much more than Hack and Plan or Trello does. However, you can say, oh, this is still kind of inconvenient. I need to select the repo and I need to type the branch name. What I like to do to circumvent that is that you can create automation and automation rules to help you with your workflow, right? So if you come to project settings, automation, is going to have like no rules set up yet. You can turn on your automation, and once you've turned on your automations, you can set up your rules, and it's basically going to automate your process, right? So if I browse the library, there are a few automation rules already ready for you that you can use. There are like DevOps rules, there are software rules, and there is more templates in the library, so you can see more stuff here on this link at the bottom. Some rules that they recommend here, let's just turn them on to see. Yep. So here you go. I already have I set up those rules. You can also create your own rule. So as I mentioned before, like the way I like to circumvent this, I like to create a rule that every time I move a task from to do to in progress, I create a branch for that task, right? So now I remove the necessity of having to manually create branch. Jira automatically creates the branch for me, and that avoids user error. That also avoids any stress, because like some people, like artists or designers, they may not have a deep understanding of Git. They don't have to. All they need to do is transition their tasks to the correct column, and Jira will do the rest for them. I'm not gonna show you how to do each individual rule. That's a video in and of itself, and this video is already pretty long. And just to show this rule in effect, back to the project, I have these two rules that are for the epic. The epic here is to do if I complete these two tasks and come here, there you go. The epic is done. I did not have to update the status of the epic. The epic updated on its own. So sorry for the long video. I hope I was able to show you the most useful features of Jira. Again, there are a lot more features, a lot more customization options. Atlassian themselves have a lot of other tools that you can link to Jira to help your workflow. So yeah, try it out. It's a very, very powerful, very, very useful tool, and I highly, highly recommend it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.